Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 23 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. Hope you're doing well. A little bit overcast, a little bit rainy. It's been raining here for a little while, just slightly raining. And the temperature has dropped 4 degrees, believe it or not. 83 degrees right now. So we're not complaining, though. We're not complaining.
Seasons are changing.
You know, one of the things, Robin, that I think is, I don't know if it's a secret, but one of the things that's a good piece of advice for anybody getting into what we do is to just simply be honest with the listeners, because the listeners can see right through you when you are trying to pull one over on them. Now, if it's a joke, if you're just trying to be funny, they get that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, you're just straightforward and honest. If you don't know something, you say, I don't know. If you disagree, you just disagree. You don't pretend, you don't pretend.
Do it all the time.
And so I say that because what I'm about to tell you is something you may not believe, and then I don't want to lose the credibility that we've earned all these years. I promise you this is absolutely the true story, and I think it connects with our next guest. Years ago, my sister, who has since died, she called me up. I was working at that time, I guess, I don't know where I worked, but I was working at home on a portrait. I used to do, and I still do them now and then, these pastel portraits. It's just something I was able to do, and people would ask me to do them. It was nothing, no big deal. And I had the drawing board in front of the couch, so that half of the couch was where I would sit to do the drawing, and then the other half of the couch was where I would sit to watch TV. Basically, that was the way it worked. And so my sister called, and I was on the phone with her, and she lived about 15 miles away. And I'm on the part of the couch where I sit to watch the TV, because I had been working on this portrait. I didn't have much done on the portrait, though. No, I did. I did have a lot done. That's important to know. Okay. But she didn't know this. My sister hadn't visited me in a long time, even though she lived only 15 miles away. All these things are important because of what I'm about to tell you. She called me up and she said, there's a lady outside my door and she's crying. I said, oh, who is it? She said her name. She told me her name, and I just don't remember the name. And then she said, but she's not alive. She's a ghost. I said, oh, Doreen, come on. There's a ghost outside your door and she's crying. Yeah, she's asking me. She says, I'm related to you and I'm looking for my children. Do you know where they are? And my sister told me the names of the I think it was one or two names she told me.
Yeah, we looked them up.
We looked them up.
Yes,
this was before the internet, by the way, right?
Yes, right.
And so you couldn't really just go and, Google it real quickly. And then she said... So I was getting this chill, because I was home alone, and I got this chill, like I was like spooked by it. Okay, and then she said she's coming over to see you, and I said no, tell her don't come to see me. I don't want her to be here. I don't want the ghost in my house. And she came over. Well, she came over. I am not lying. This is where I might lose your respect or whatever. But please trust me, I am not making this up, and I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't even close to being asleep. The door to my garage, I don't mean the garage door, the one you drive the car through. I mean the one that leads from the kitchen to the garage, opened up by itself. I mean flung open.
It was heavy, too.
It was a heavy wooden door and flung open. Never had done that, and there was no air getting into that garage from anywhere. The garage door that you drive the car through was closed. The other door in the garage was closed. Everything was closed, and it opened up. My sister told me she's there. And I said, holy mackerel. I am telling you, and I don't get scared much. Well, that's probably a lie. But anyway, then she says to me, listen to this. She says she's sitting on the couch next to you. She's telling me, that's a beautiful portrait you're working on. And I said, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was looking good, too, I'll be honest. I was proud of my portrait. Then she said, oh, she's walking around. She's looking, she's checking. Oh, you need to paint your bathroom, she says, Larry. And I did. My bathroom, there was no tile on the wall in my shower.
Yeah.
And because there was no tile, the paint was, constantly being hit by the water, and I was a lazy guy and still am, and so I really needed to paint it. So those things, the door opening up, the comment on the portrait, and the comment on the paint job that needed to be done made me think, holy cow, there really is somebody here. And I'll tell you the truth. And this woman was looking for her children. That's all I remember. And then, my sister ended up dying a few years later. And so that's my ghost story. Dr. Peter Andrew Sacco is on the phone. He's got more of them. He's the host of a TV show called Niagara's Most Haunted, so I presume he's up in Canada somewhere. Well, it's our second guest, like in an hour.
Yeah.
Up in Canada. I took too long to introduce him, but I wanted to tell my little story there. He has a book called Paranormal Niagara, Cases of the Mysterious and the Macabre. I'm glad I didn't have a macabre story to tell.
Yeah.
But I had a mysterious one. And good morning, Dr. Sacco. Thank you for being on with us today.
Well, good morning, Larry and Robin. I hope you guys are having a great day, and all the listeners out there, I hope it's exceptional.
Oh, and you got that Canadian accent. I can hear it already. Yeah. Well, thank you for being on there. And I guess I should apologize. I wanted to introduce you that way, but at the same time, I took up a lot of your time by telling my little story.
Oh, no worries. It's interesting. I think, you know what, Larry, everybody kind of has a story. I think people are different levels in what they believe and what they don't believe. And you're right, I do host this TV series, which we are now going into our third season of production. And we're actually in a bunch of film festivals, both up here in Canada and also in the United States and around the world. So we're taking something out there, sharing histories of haunted places, not only on our side of the border in Canada, but in Western New York, and letting people decide for themselves.
Okay, so this is a show where you take cameras into a house. Now, do you try to capture evidence of a ghost on camera?
No.
No.
You know what? And I hope anybody out there listening, I hope you weren't expecting Bill Murray here from Ghostbusters. I'm not that guy. But what we do is we go, Larry, we go into not only houses, but we go into tremendous 200-year-old landmarks from the War of 1812 and other great places, tunnels, different types of boats, even railways and all that kind of stuff, where there is a prolonged history. We tell the story of what happened there, the history of the buildings. We get total information from the people who run the places or own the places. Then we do reenactments, and that's what we do basically.
Wow, fascinating stuff.
I took so long with the introduction. I need to take a break already, but I promise when we come back, I want to hear everything you have to say. I've got 100 questions for you, so and I apologize. I went way too long with my intro, but hopefully my ghost story was interesting to somebody. We'll be right back after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today with a couple of thunderstorms around this afternoon. The high 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy tonight with a thunderstorm around early on near the coast. Low 73 to 77. Partly sunny tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon. High 86 to 90. And for Saturday, times of sun and clouds, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon. The high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
That's the sound of your skin cooking. Because it's August, it's Florida, and it's hot. That's the sound of cool, refreshing water as you splash into your new Radiant Pool from ASP, America's swimming pool company. And right now is the perfect time to put a Radiant Pool in your yard. Not only will you be cooling off in style while adding value to your home, but now through Labor Day, with any Radiant Pool purchase, you'll receive an all-inclusive Cancun getaway vacation for 4. So you can enjoy your new pool all year round and get an incredible getaway vacation anytime you want it. And Radiant Pools can be installed underground, above ground, and anywhere in between. And did you know that you could finance your new pool with an interest rate as low as 4.99%? But you have to act now. This deal ends on Labor Day. So call ASP, America's Swimming Pool Company, 352-861-7229. That's 352-861-7229. Or stop by their new showroom, 9169 South Highway 441 in Ocala.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
We should eat our larger meals earlier in the day so we have energy, and eat our smallest meal at night so the body can focus on sleeping. Successful relationships aren't supposed to be perfect. They require vulnerability. Telling yourself that a guy isn't good enough, our expert says you're really just giving yourself an excuse to stop trying. Couples should send 2 texts a day that provoke interest, like, I want to tell you about this cool vacation idea I had.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for waiting. Dr. Peter Andrew Sacco is on the phone up in Canada, and he's the host of a TV show called Niagara's Most Haunted. He's got a book called Paranormal Niagara, Cases of Mysterious and the Macabre, and he himself, my goodness, a bunch of credentials here. He's an adjunct psychology professor at Niagara University in Lewiston, New York. He's a teacher of education. I guess he's a teacher there, and he's the creator and instructor of the criminal psychology program at Niagara College in Canada. So you're straddling that border up there, aren't you? You go back and forth.
You know what, Larry? I'm on your side all of the time, and I love it. I'm Canadian first, but I would say American first and a half.
First and a half. So what do you believe? I mean, you've looked at all these things, and like you heard my story, and I'm going to tell you right up front, I didn't make up any of that stuff. I mean, that's absolutely the truth, but yet I've never had another one. Not really, not to me.
Well, you know what, Larry? I believe everybody is entitled to their own experience, and I believe everybody kind of can perceive the world and events differently. I am a man of science. I have a PhD in psychology, so, you know, when people tell me their stories like, oh my God, what do you think? And you're a psychologist. You think I'm crazy? And absolutely not. Because, you know, people say, well, how do you prove it scientifically? For the longest time, gravity existed, but we couldn't see it. But if you jumped off of a tower, you'd hit the bottom. Just like we knew electricity existed, but you couldn't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there, but yet you wouldn't go put your finger in a socket. So it's the same thing. There is a spiritual world. There's something out there, obviously, for us to think there. You know, we're the only ones here, and nothing, you know, came before us or created this. We would be kind of egotistical. So I believe, Larry, I wouldn't judge anybody's story, or, you know, if they get something from it or it means something to them, then that's a great story for them.
Okay, but you yourself have not had an experience like the ones we're talking about?
I would say when we've been out filming, I've seen some really bizarre stuff on film after the fact. You know what? I'll be honest. We shot at one place, in fact, the Screaming Tunnel, which is right around the corner from me. It's an historical tunnel that it was used in the movie based on Stephen King's book, The Dead Zone, starring Christopher Walken and Martin Sheen back in the 80s. We filmed in there 5 different times over 12 years, and every time our equipment power dies. And a lot of this is battery-operated stuff, and it shouldn't. So that is really bizarre. We could never understand that, why it happens. And as I said, stuff I've caught on film, we've got after the fact, kind of make the hair on the back of my neck stand. But in the book, Paranormal Niagara, I give really cool stories that I've shared, including a major police investigation that happened in 1970 that involved a poltergeist case, or demonic possession case, however you want to look at it. And there was 8 signed police reports with stuff like couches with 3 adults floating off the ground.
Oh, wow.
Floating and that kind of stuff. So when I read those reports, Larry, I don't doubt it.
Is poltergeist and possession one and the same? Because you brought up both words.
You know what, Robin? Absolutely not. When I was doing my PhD, I did take a course in parapsychology looking at psychokinesis, telekinetic energy, the ability to move things with the mind. And later, as we were putting together this episode with Bob Crawford, who was one of the police investigators in that 28 days of poltergeist activity that actually was featured, it was talked about on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson back in 1970. I looked into it, and there's a famous fellow who's passed on now called Ed Warren. He was a demonologist, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They've investigated cases like the Amityville horror case, and I know Ed investigated West Point, I believe, in the States back in the day. And Ed put his research that anything over 3 pounds that can be moved, that you can't see, that's floating around like that, like a refrigerator or a couch, it's probably a possession of some sorts. But anything under 3 pounds, it's perhaps caused by the mind, which is telekinetic energy, psychokinesis, or poltergeist.
By the mind, okay.
Wow.
And are we doing this all the time subconsciously? Like if I'm thinking about something, am I affecting it, but just not strong enough to be able to see it being affected?
You know what, Larry? What it is, and a lot of times the poltergeist case, the person that's doing it psychokinetically, they really would have to be able to train themselves. I'll be honest, I have not seen that with my own eyes. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Anybody
me too.
To come and do it for us. But generally, if you look at the true definition of a poltergeist case, it usually happens in a child or a teenager that's projecting anger that's inward, outward, or anxiety due to some sort of abuse, neglect, or whatever, and they're not aware they're even doing it.
But you know, and I'm sure you've seen this, and this is scientific. This isn't mysterious. Well, it is, but some people understand it. They have these devices hooked up to the heads of certain people, and they've experimented with mind controlling things. Like, oh gosh, you can look it up on YouTube. You'll see examples of how they're doing experiments like this right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have no doubt. Like, this is always going. There's been a tremendous wealth of research done on this. And, in fact, the late, great Edgar Cayce talked about a lot of this stuff. And, you know, he had a whole paranormal sort of institute looking at this, the Rhine Institute. And there's a lot of information on this. And you know what? It's just, it's there. You know what? Energy, just because we can't see it, once again, I'll reiterate with electricity, we can't see it, but it's there. Just like people go, well, I don't believe in that aura stuff. Well, I'd say next time take a look up at the moon. What the heck is that radiating around the moon? That's an aura. It's energy. So I think going back to moving things with the mind, I think it's the ability for those that have this gift that they can channel it and really hone into it and then, you know, use their energy in a different way other than radiating.
The notes I have, Doctor, say that you've written a book called Why Women Want What They Can't Have. That sounds more.
Yes.
That sounds more mysterious. That's more mysterious to me than ghosts. I mean, that sounds like a bigger mystery.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, and it's absolutely got nothing to do with the paranormal.
I know.
The paranormal stuff is more of a fun side thing that I started to do, actually, to promote tourism and some of the historical sites in this area. But yeah, my book, bestseller book, actually published on 4 continents. Actually, Larry and Robin, Why Women Want What They Can't Have, is a book which explores what I've studied. And when I was in private practice, I used to work a lot with abused and battered women, also women that would but over and over find cheaters or hook up with guys that would commit infidelity. And then the concern was their own daughters being cheated or hurt, or their sons becoming the cheater or the abuser, and also the guys. It taught guys a way to treat women better. So I put this book together, and basically what it is a book which will teach how to overcome and not deal with abuse in relationships, how to stop attracting bad relationships, and also there's a test in there and everything to see where you stand and how you stand in this stuff.
I did this experiment as well. When I got married, I suddenly started wearing a ring. and I noticed that, wow, I get a lot of women hitting on me now with this ring.
Yeah.
and I shared this discovery with the other guys I knew who just got married. I said, yeah, it's like magic. I wish I knew this 5 years ago. I would have wore a ring.
How do you know, sir, to believe someone when they come to you about supernatural happenings because of your background in helping with mental health?
Well, you know what? Normally what we do, Robin, is when we look at these types of situations, we consider them for our show. And generally it would have to be a really good story that would have a really good location, i.e. historical, or it would be something that we can not only recreate, but also get some degree of validation that it's just not one of these overnight things. Like, for example, we had a lady that had contacted me and said, would you spend the night and sleep in my garage? I think there was dead bodies poured in, or dead in there like 100 years ago, and I think they're trying to come through. So I'm thinking, oh, yeah, ma'am, I'm all over this. I'm going to lay on the concrete all night and just watch.
Oh, no. Come sleep in my garage.
Yeah, we're not going after that, or the fact that we've had some people go, well, I really do believe, I think there's leprechauns in my house. Oh, really? Well, go get your Lucky Charms out, and maybe they'll go away.
You're fun. You're funny. Okay, so the book and the TV show and all that, let's see, the book is called Paranormal Niagara. How do we get the book?
You can get Paranormal Niagara right on my website at petersacco.com, petersacco.com. You can also check out our TV series and my other books that tie into the show at niagarasmosthaunted.com. And I was really, really pleased. These books, the two that tie into the show, sold out immediately, and they're doing really well. And people are finding new stories and stuff to intrigue them about not only Niagara region, but also about ghosts.
We used to have a radio show out of Canada called Canada Calling. It was on in the winter.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of Canadians here in the winter that call Canada home, and Florida their summer home. I mean, their winter home. Yes, snowbirds. So anyway, you kind of remind me of the way you speak. I guess it's the Canadian accent. I don't know. You're not in Toronto. You're in Niagara, right?
I am right in Niagara Falls, Larry. Actually, I have a weekly weekly radio show that kicks back up after Labor Day out of Toronto, though, where I look at matters of the mind, which we talk about mental health stuff.
Oh wow! Years ago, when I was very, very young, I was up in Toronto with a record company. I had a record deal up there. So, well, Peter, thank you for being on the air with us today. You mentioned just this off the cuff. I heard you talking to Robin during the break that it's cold up there right now, and it's 84 degrees here. So you might want to switch places.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be switching places. I'm coming down to Universal Studios in September, so I'm going to.
Oh, you are?
Florida sunshine. Absolutely. I love it down in Florida. Love it. I frequent when I'm down there the Cracker Barrels. I can live at that restaurant all day and all night.
I like it too.
Who would have known? Well, but Peter, thank you for being on the air with us. I'm going to check out the book, and I'm going to see if I can catch an episode online of your TV show. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk to us today.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, Larry and Robin. Everybody listening, I hope you have a great day.
All right, that was fun. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today with a couple of thunderstorms around this afternoon. The high 88 to 92. Then partly cloudy tonight with a thunderstorm around early on near the coast. Low 73 to 77. Partly sunny tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon. High 86 to 90. And for Saturday, times of sun and clouds, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A U.S.-led humanitarian airlift for refugees in Iraq said to be unlikely after a visit from a special ops team.
Pentagon also credited efforts of Kurdish fighters and the ability of thousands of Yazidis to escape on their own. But no matter what happens, the Obama administration says U.S. troops will not engage in combat in Iraq.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. The latest snapshot of our economy just out.
311,000 Americans file new claims for unemployment benefits. That is 21,000 more applications than were filed the week before.
Fox Radio's Steve Taylor. Average U.S. 30-year mortgage rate slipping to 4.12%. And a 4-month playing ban has been upheld against the soccer player from Uruguay who bit an Italian team member during a World Cup game, although the Court of Arbitration for Sport says Luis Suarez will be allowed to train with his new club, Barcelona. Fox News. We report, you decide.
They say every healthy relationship should have a balance of predictability and spontaneity. In fact, it is that assurance of security that makes the spontaneous possible. Your relationship with your car should be a little like that too. With our new industry-leading unlimited mileage warranty, your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz instills a sense of confidence. You drive away knowing that you can keep driving for up to 3 years and never have to worry about the miles. Add to that our new complimentary prepaid maintenance on select models, and your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz becomes the ultimate carefree escape vehicle. Only during the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event, going on now through September 2nd, can you also take advantage of a 2-month payment credit on many models, plus 3 months of Sirius XM satellite radio. So hurry in today. It might just be the most predictable spur-of-the-moment decision you've ever made.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. At the joint meeting of the peanut shellers and peanut buying points recently, peanut specialists reported that the peanut crop in the Southeast needs a widespread, good soaking rain right now. They're about 80 to 90 days old, and harvest will start sometime in early September. There are some foliage feeder problems and also yield predictions right now. All depends on the rain, according to Chris Balcom of Alabama. David Wright of Florida said that they're still battling the pigweed and good moisture most of the season, and the crop is looking good. In South Carolina and other areas, they said they had a heavy infestation of thrips, but the crop is looking good. No rain in some areas for over a month until last week. During the program, several awards were presented from the American Peanut Shellers and Buying Points. The Hall of Fame from the Shellers went to Jerry Chandler of McCleskey Mills and J.W. Willis of Damascus Peanut Company. A painting of them will hang in the offices in Albany, Georgia. The Distinguished Service Award from the National Peanut Buying Point Association went to Philip Sutton of Federal State Inspection Service. Peanut Pioneer Award went to Birdsong Peanuts. Tom Birdsong accepting, as they are 100 years old this year in the peanut business. Peanut Buying Point of the Year was Dixon Farm Supply in Alapahaw, Georgia, and the Peanut Impact Award went to T.E. Moy, President and CFO of the Georgia Federal State Inspection Service.
The Environmental Quality Incentives Program, or EQIP, is a continuous sign-up program allowing landowners or operators to apply for financial and technical assistance for many types of conservation practices. And USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service in Florida has made it easy to get more details. Just log on to www.fl.nrcs.usda.gov. You'll find state resource concerns along with links to more detailed information on the overall EQIP program. Or you can simply stop by your local USDA NRCS office.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Okay, easy. All right, set her down. Over there. Easy.
What are you doing?
Oh, honey, you're home early. Nothing.
Really? Because it looks to me like you've torn up the entire yard with this giant tractor.
Not all of it. There is a small section over there I didn't
That's
get.
not even funny. Why are you tearing up my yard?
Well, the sprinkler head broke.
So you thought it was a good idea to fix it with a huge tractor?
Well, not at first, but then when I tried to fix it, I hit the main line. Thought it would be a good idea
if all of this was a good idea? Here's an idea. Why don't you just call Mike Scott Plumbing? It's that easy. In fact, let me help you out with that. 237-2888.
But it's the weekend.
I know. They don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays.